Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the worst show on YouTube.
Well, when I'm not on, that's what I
Well,
call it.
I hope everyone's doing well tonight. We've got a packed show. I don't know how long you can stay, Daimio, but there's a lot to talk about. A lot of shit has happened.
Probably stay
Some
for
of
about
it,
2 hours.
yeah, some of it in the last 12 hours. Oh, thank you. And the first
What's up, John?
person of the night, John Graber, the lovely space jockey, reminding us that I am 8 minutes late. I mean, better 8 minutes late than 2 months late. It's a period joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you been, man?
Good, dude. Busy at work, just chilling. Glad to be here. Ready to talk.
Yep. So our I'm trying to think if I want to go straight into it. Well, first let's go with this. Did you catch any of that game I was playing last night?
No.
Okay, so it's called a game about digging a hole. It's $5 on Steam, and
Oh,
if
you're
you're
being
ever
serious
bored,
right now.
yeah. And if you're ever bored, it's a worthy $5.
And you just dig a hole.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I do enough of that in real life. I don't really need to do that in a video game.
So the goal is to find this treasure chest in the backyard of a house, and so you have to or you're digging, you find things like stone, iron, things like that. You go to sell it, and then you upgrade your stuff so you can dig better, so you can drop dynamite, shit like that. And so what I'm working on right now is I beat the game last night. It's it's $5. It's not a super complicated game. But there was a there was a like side objective almost where you need to find these two keys so that you can so you can open this box that has stuff in it. And so that's what I was working on today. Maybe while I was doing a little bit of work. Definitely not something that I plan on telling my boss about.
So let me get this straight. You were at work digging a hole in a video game.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Caleb.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I never said that I was the best employee they have.
I'm not either.
Actually, I take that back. I think I actually have said that very thing.
I'm sure you've thought it on multiple occasions.
100%. I think that way a lot. Sorry, I'm trying to sign in something on my phone.
The hockey game.
Yep.
Which is again, yeah. Let's go USA. Fuck Canada.
So I'm using Star Wars Dog's ESPN account.
Yeah.
And whenever I log in, it's got to son of a bitch. Hang on, wait, maybe no.
What, it makes you get a code from him, right?
Yeah, it makes him.
I've been through this.
Code.
I've been in this exact situation with it.
The problem is when I go to put the when I go to text him the code and I go back to the app, it makes me re-sign in, which is going to undo the code that I gave him.
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
Well, good luck.
Okay. Well, I mean, we still got 45 minutes till the puck drops anyway, so who gives a shit? Okay, I think that was enough. What's it called? Fabbing? Is that what it's called? Where you just kind of ad lib?
Filibustering?
No, filibustering is a whole different thing.
Yeah, true.
Filibustering is what actually, I think you'll find this funny. Who got RFK? So RFK got confirmed last Thursday.
Right.
And Adam Schiff gets up there at like midnight. the morning of. And he tweets out to everybody, I'm going to hold the floor and stop the confirmation of RFK. He is a danger and he will destroy the American health system. About 21 years, about 12 years ago, actually. It was either late 2013 or early 2014. Rand Paul gets up there and he holds the Senate floor for about 22 hours. He wasn't able to he wasn't able to put off what he was trying to put off because it wasn't an actual filibuster. He was just speaking. So the sad thing about this is Adam Schiff couldn't manage to hold the floor for 12 hours, let alone the 22 Rand Paul did. Like, that's fucking pathetic. I'm pretty sure he gave up. I'd love to find out if anyone knows how long he actually spoke for. Let me know. But I'm pretty sure he gave up after like 2 hours.
That's
fucking pathetic. But okay, so 007.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that pretty early on in the morning. Shot that over to you because immediately I knew exactly who to text when I saw that, and I was pretty surprised. Within 30 minutes, you're like, "Well, video recorded and posted."
Yep. Mm-hmm. I made a video today, so we're gonna dive into this open eyes. We're not, I'm not trying to, go any, no spin here. I'm not trying to go one way or to the other. But before I do that, everyone in chat, hit that like button, subscribe, hop in the chat, tell us what you think about this while Daimyo and I unpack this together. Ooh, that is fucking bright. Okay. So let's share screen here from the beautiful The Hollywood Reporter. Holy crap, I am bright now. Amazon gets creative control of James Bond. Ian Fleming's most important creation. He did, and you might forget this or have forgotten about this. I always forget about this. He did Chi Bang Bang. That was one of his stories. But obviously, what everyone knows Ian Fleming for is James Bond. Yeah. And this, I'm pissed off about this. So real quick, let's recap this. So Fleming creates James Bond in 1950. He sold the film rights to Eon Productions, which is the Broccoli family, in the 60s. And we've gotten 25 or 26, kind of depends how you count them, 25 Bond movies. MGM had the distribution rights, which is why at the start of every single you just rewatched them. You remember how at the start of every single Bond movie you see the lion roaring.
Right.
Yeah, so that's because MGM held the distribution rights. So the Broccoli's or Eon Studios were the creatives. They got to pick who was going to play James Bond. They got to pick directors, writers. They were the producers. They got to decide how political are we getting. They literally, every decision involving what you see on screen came from the Broccoli's, came from Eon Productions, or Studios, sorry. And that has all changed today. So Amazon acquired MGM 2 years ago. Honestly, dude, I thought it was a lot longer ago. But they got MGM 2 years ago, and there was already kind of a concern that Sundowners, welcome to the club. James Corden is playing Bond. That is fucking hilarious.
That's Idris Elba.
I'd take Idris Elba over James Gordon. Corden, whatever, however you say his dumbass name. So you've got Amazon who had creative control, had just the productions. And when they got those from acquiring MGM, it was kind of like, it's only a matter of time. They're putting new shit out every single week. So it's only a matter of time until we get new Bond stuff. And obviously, with how Amazon handled Rings of Power and Wheel of Time, this was concerning to a lot of people. Now, I know you really like Rings of Power, right?
Yeah, I thought it was better than both The Hobbit and the original trilogy. I just think just everything they did with it, they made it a little bit more fuck. I,
You
I
can't
couldn't
even
do it.
you can't even bullshit it,
I was
man.
trying to figure out how to say they made it for a modern audience and it was really great, but
I
yeah.
love it.
Uh,
Yeah. So obviously he doesn't like that. But there we go. Wow, that's a lot of ums. Sorry, where was I?
you were
Right. So Amazon, makes all this crap, and that's stuff that Amazon had complete creative control over. So at the time, I at least I wasn't that concerned
yeah.
because MGM was already doing the same stuff that Amazon could now do. So it was kind of like, I mean, the last two movies haven't been great. The last one was terrible, but the last two haven't been great. But Craig's first three, or his first one, his second one was affected by a writer's strike. But his first one and his third one were fine. Skyfall is ranked as one of the top Bond movies. I think it's the most successful Bond movie. And I really enjoy it. Now, I don't think it's an incredible Bond movie. I think it's an incredible movie. But I do think it misses on a lot of what a James Bond movie should be.
And we discussed that when I just watched it because I wanted to know what you thought about it. Because when I was watching it, basically exactly what you were saying, that I thought it was a really good film and I thought it was done really well, shot really well. The story itself is good for a standalone movie. But what you're talking about, just the way, and when I started to really think about it, yeah, like I agree with you. It changes the motive, you could say, about Bond, right? By having, now just with the whole Bardem storyline, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, I actually felt like, so, I mean, shoot me if you want, but I didn't think Spectre is like that bad.
So
because you said the last two, right?
Yeah. So Spectre is definitely, especially when you compare it to No Time to Die,
yeah,
is definitely much better than No Time to Die. But there's still, I don't like how they handled this like relationship between Blofeld and Bond. I think they made it a little too much like, are they brothers? Like it rubbed me the wrong way, especially because I really enjoyed how Blofeld. I was very hopeful when Skyfall came out and it became the Syndicate, or it became Spectre, and I was hopeful for the inclusion of Blofeld and all this stuff to kind of get bigger, but of course it didn't.
And like that part, arguably, I can agree with you on that, on the Blofeld aspect of it. But I felt as a character, it didn't step out of line really, other than that little comment about old dogs, new tricks. By the black chick, I forgot her name. So like that is the only instance. But other than that, like he was still Bond in the traditional sense. He still got the woman in the movie. He was still a badass and a killer throughout the movie. I didn't have any issues with him in that sense.
So Ryan nailed it right here. What's up, Ryan? There's just too many random connections and backstory they tried to shove in there with Bond and Blofeld to put in one movie. Yeah. And I 100% agree. If you go back to Connery and I'm almost positive Blofeld dies in Moore's first Bond movie. But you go back to them, the Blofeld and Spectre are throughout the movie, the first 7 or 8 movies, I think. You've got.
See, I'm not too into the. I'm going to be honest. I'm not like way in. I've seen a handful of them, like the older ones. So they're like Spectre is a recurring theme, and same with Blofeld.
Yes. So Dr. No, who it's actually just make sure I'm right before I say this. One of the only ones that the movie is actually named after the character. Dr. No is a member of Spectre. Now, in Dr. No, again, it's been probably about 2 or 3 years since I watched it, so I can't fully remember. But in Dr. No, it's not obvious because I don't believe they knew that it was going to be a franchise thing. I think it was attempted to just be a one-off, and then obviously it was successful, so they made another one. But Dr. No is, I think, number 2 in Spectre. And in one of the later movies, I think it's it's killing me. Thunderball, maybe. There's a big old. Oh no, it's from Russia with Love. There's a big old meeting at Spectre, and all the I think it's like 1 through 10 are there, and there's a comment about how Dr. No number 2 failed, and the other person comes up and says, "I have a plan, and we're going to do this," and then it's all this cool little like pre-Cold War spy agency type stuff that wasn't government. It was spy organizations and criminal organizations. And Ryan's right. They tried to take 7 movies worth of information that you gathered from different scenes and shoehorn it all into one. Because the problem was, they with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, they were going with this like this one, going the one way with this syndicate type thing that they were doing. And then after Skyfall, it's almost like they decided to just, let's turn that into Spectre. And it just didn't work. It wasn't. It was too much too quickly.
And for just all honesty, for a normie like myself, who I like action movies, like they're just easy to sit down to and watch. That's kind of how I've always viewed Bond movies. Like I'm not showing up necessarily for this crazy in-depth story.
Well, I think that's fair.
Like I think it just like what you guys are talking about right now, like all that stuff goes over my head. I was like I was just thinking Spectre was starting from the beginning of the Craig franchise. That's kind of where.
Oh yeah, no. Well, and that's hang on, let me hit this. What's up, Breezy? How you doing? Breezy, a member for 4 months. What is the percent GRM or the chance that George R. R. Martin finishes the Song of Ice and Fire series? That's actually for later, which is why I don't have it pulled up yet. So thanks for making me look bad, Breezy. 4,968 days since a Dance with Dragons came out. 13 years, 7 months, and 6 days.
Caleb, we've talked about this. He has it finished. It's locked in a vault. He's just, being patient with the release.
Oh my gosh, you can't get more patient. Ryan said 0.1%. Sundays, we're going to talk about the Game of Thrones or Game of Thrones video game that they're coming out with later. In Diamonds Forever, there's a decoy of Blofeld. Yeah, he's actually killed using this like anti-aging or I don't know, some liquid thing they pump in and kill him with. It's kind of gross, actually. So let's get back to this. So 007, Amazon now has creative control, which they also have with Rings of Power, with Wheel of Time. I believe they have some creative control with Reacher. I don't think it's full on creative control. I think Lee Child still gets to determine like what story they're going to use and stuff like that. But I believe Amazon's allowed to kind of shape around that story.
Yeah.
And of those 3 things, only one of them is a commercial or critical success. The other two are two of the worst storytellings I've seen since the Aragon movie.
Well, okay, so a few things. I was excited, first of all, to see just who they select as Bond, like just for
Yeah,
the prospect of thought, like where that could lead. Initially, I'm saying before
yeah.
this news came out. Uh and there are only a handful of Amazon shows that I even like originals, So we know what happened with Rings of Power. I even though I like for the most part I like Invincible, there's still some pretty like liberal shit that's thrown
Mm-hmm.
in your face for that. And then on top
Well,
of
it's the
that,
same with The Boys.
well, I was just gonna say
Yeah,
season 1 and a little bit of season 2 I liked for The Boys, and then stopped watching just because it kind of got too much. It got to be too much.
yeah,
And then so now I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, well, there's not really all that excitement went out the window right now for me, and it's gonna go back to just being highly skeptical, and which I think you should be going into these things, but
yeah,
it right now I just don't see why they would go with their first choice as well,
yeah.
it might have not been their first choice. It could have just been how much money was thrown at them to do
Well,
this,
so I definitely think one of the issues is the fact that now I don't. I would love to actually sit down with Michael or Barbara and you know get an actual answer, or I'd love for someone to actually be able to sit down with them and get an actual answer as to why it's taken so long. Why are we still waiting for another James Bond movie? Why haven't y'all done one
Yeah.
yet?
Well, and
Um,
especially sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
yeah,
especially given how No Time to Die, everyone reacted to that and what they did with that,
exactly.
you
Yeah,
would think they would try to like, okay, let's figure this out, let's get back to it. And then the fact that it feels kind of like the Broccolis are just
giving up.
whatever. They're like, all right, whatever,
Yeah.
we fucked up.
Well, it's like Warner Brothers fucks up with season 8 of Game of Thrones, and then within a year, there's like two different projects announced, and House of the Dragon is greenlit because they understood we can't let this sit dead like this for too long. If it sits dead, then it will die. And I mean, they not obviously, we know how that worked out. They knocked it out of the park with season 1, and then Ryan Condal, in his hubris, decided to tell his story instead of George's story. So yeah, Ryan, we're just about to say that. So Ryan says, I think Bond will be male and white, whether it will be good or not, who knows? I think the bigger problem is that will it be a cinematic universe with shitty spinoffs? 100%. So there's kind of two paths here. There's the correct path, which is cinematic releases with actual theatrical release. I don't mean this dumb shit that Netflix does every now and then where they go, here's 5 theaters that we're going to release this in for like 2 days before it comes out on Netflix. I mean full dedicated 3,900 theaters in the United States, across the world, actual premieres, the whole 9 yards.
Well,
Or do they
see,
go?
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna do the full release in theaters as planned, as scheduled for months, 3 months or whatever, how long it'll stay out there for. And then they're gonna be like, but if you have Amazon Prime, you can also buy it after like 3 weeks or something like
Yeah, I think they'll end up doing what I think Disney tried
that.
it with. What was the big thing? Aladdin, maybe. They put some movie out in like 2021, I think, that had it was a theatrical release, but if you paid the $35, you could watch it at home on Disney Plus. That's what I see
That's what I think is
Amazon
gonna
doing with
happen.
this. But the problem is, again, you start doing that, you start hurting the brand.
Yeah.
This is a thing for the vast majority of these movies. They need to be seen on the big screen. There's 100% a couple that you could go, I could have seen that at home,
For sure.
but a lot of them should, like, I would say every single one of Pierce Brosnan should have been seen on the big screen. I wish I had seen them on the big screen.
For sure.
but you don't need the big screen for On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There's a reason George only got one. So yeah, and so what I don't want to see them do is I don't want to see them take this and, like Sundowner said, have dumbass spinoffs. You know, here we're gonna get the origin story, the story about how Miss Moneypenny became the greatest secretary to him ever. In fact, she even saved him from a gunfight by pulling out a stapler and being the first person in history, starring Jennifer Lawrence, to kill someone with a stapler. John Wick killed someone with a fucking pencil. She killed someone with a stapler.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we get the miniseries on the creation of Q Branch, which was created by a bunch of gay people, but they didn't want the British government to know that they were gay at the time, because that it was really evil against gay people. So they named it Q Branch for queer.
Yeah, and there's going to be the number 0, 0000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be Anya Taylor-Joy running around murdering a bunch of dudes.
Excuse me, I just got flashbacks. Star Wars Dog, let me know how it's going. I tried to pull it up on my thermometer, and honestly, it just kind of made everything fuck up a lot. And I'm still kind of glitching every now and then, and I'm hoping that's only on my end and not on the stream's end. We'll find out though. No one's texted me or said anything like, dude, your stream's all fucked up.
No, I've kept it up. You're not glitching on the YouTube side.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Ryan said, and the answer to why it's taken so long is that they've been dealing with Amazon since 22 when Imaging was bought. Yeah, exactly. Well, so, and this thing, I don't necessarily blame Barbara and Michael for No Time to Die. They are definitely part of the problem, and their inability to just say, no, this is what we're doing in that last movie is 100% on them. But if they had stuck by their guns, if they had followed in their father's legacy and not tried to create this I wish Felicity was here. What is the name of those directors that are like, I have this vision? Otters,
washed up white dudes, Scorsese,
Ridley would
Scott.
be one of them. Yes, those are one of them. What are they called? Felicity, where are you? What's up, Wicked? How you doing? Let's see. Directors, auteurs. It's something. Damn, I don't know what it is, but whatever that word is, if they had just stuck to their guns and said, that's not what James Bond is. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Leave. I don't ever want to see you on set again. No, we're not going to stop using the phrase Bond girl. Like, what the hell? So the issue became that not only did they not release the movie when it was supposed to be released, it took them forever to start making the movie because Daniel Craig was an asshole. It was like, I would rather die than make another Bond movie. And then he finally commits after, I think he was offered like $350 million. Sorry, never mind. I take that back. That's way too much.
Yeah,
there was no way that's what it was. Yeah. I the second I said the number, I was like, no, that's not right.
There's no way.
It was an absurd amount of money. That, like, what's his name is getting 80 for that for Doomsday. I'm pretty sure it was like $30 million. Like, it was a buttload. Like, it would have gotten me.
It's 25 million.
25. Okay,
just from a quick lookup. Yeah. Which is still I could retire happy with $25 million.
Give me 5.
Yeah.
That's why that stupid rep from Texas that was like, we're not in the business of giving away money. Also, what are you going to do with $5,000? bitch, what? I tell you exactly what I'm going to do with $5,000. Holy crap. $5,000 would change. There's 370 or 360 million Americans. $5,000 would change the lives for 359 million Americans. Like, holy crap, that would be awesome. Sorry, I forgot where I was.
I forgot where you were too. We were talking about how much he made.
Oh yeah, and then he got like 3 or 4 different injuries while filming, which pushed filming back 3 or 4 more months.
Yeah,
and then COVID happened and theaters closed, so they can't release the movie. I think it was supposed to release, like 2 months after. I think it was supposed to release May of 2020. And then COVID happened. It got pushed to October. Then it got pushed to, I think, a couple months after Joker. And so it just became like a money pit. And they just had to get it out. And I think that's one of the reasons why
sounds familiar.
It's not even near the level as Quantum of Solace, which is pretty low level. Wicked Virtue says, I want Richard Madden for the new Bond, and I don't disagree. I have said for a long time that there are 2 British actors that I think could easily be Bond: Henry Cavill and Richard Madden.
Yeah, I like both of those. You know my pick right now. I'm the Anthony Taylor.
The dude that plays the new Doctor, right?
Sorry, what?
You don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Doctor Who. And no,
that's
not who I was talking about.
I know.
I do think, all seriousness, I do think Anthony Taylor Johnson, is it Aaron? I always say Anthony. Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, I think all 3 of those people could do a really good job with the role.
And that's one of the things, they've been teasing like, hey, we're close, hey, we're not close, hey, we're close for 2 years now. It's like, make up your damn mind.
I've also heard Taron Egerton, is that his name?
Egerton. Yeah.
Egerton, yeah. But he seems kind of short for
he's
that
very
role.
short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now again, most of Tom Cruise's movies, he doesn't look that short. So there's ways to film around short actors.
But like Tom Cruise built an American 007 for himself.
He did, yeah.
Damn. Fucking Sean. Hey, Sean, go ahead and Apple Pay me or you can throw my end in it over Apple Pay, Cash App.
The Sundowners Club for fucking $100. Can you use this money to replace your hat with an RK Outpost or Wicked Virtue?
God
damn. Or I'll give you a Sundowners hat. Well, Mr. Sundowners, if you would have hats, I would buy one. But you're right, I do need an RK Outpost hat.
It's all good, Caleb. I just screenshotted that super chat, and I'll put something together later tonight.
Okay, that scares me. So, for your generous contribution to the Keep King's Advisors Out of Jail Fund, we offer you this. One day I'll do something that's actually like creative and shit. Wicked, do you have hats? I don't think you do. Or I don't know. I haven't looked. I'm a terrible friend. So everyone in chat. Oh, you do have hats. Okay, I do need a hat. Okay. Well, so my next 3 hats. Well, I was telling chat one day, it's funny.
Are you gonna get one of my hats? What the fuck?
Do you have hats?
No.
Yeah. Okay. I usually I usually have a hat when I'm streaming, like as I realize I think almost everyone does, and it's always decided by which hat is closest to my computer when I sit down, which is why the actual hat is usually it, because
which is why you keep that hat and the Pirates hat right next to each other on your desk.
Well, I actually also have this one.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was right there.
I actually my Pirates hat is actually in my bedroom right now.
Oh, you sleep with it?
I love hats. I've always been a hat guy.
As am I. It's how you go bald, though. Or is that a myth?
I think as long as some of the hours will tell us. But as long as what I've been told is if you don't wear hats while your hair is wet, it's supposed to be fine. That's why I always let my hair dry before I put a hat on.
Welcome to the Hats Advisors.
yeah. You learn a lot here.
Yeah.
So Wicked told us, but I'm curious, everyone in chat, who, if y'all had to pick someone, and let's leave them British, because for the same reason that and we'll spin off into a different topic using this topic, but for the same reason that I don't think John Lithgow should play Albus Dumbledore, I don't think someone who isn't British should play James Bond. You have to be British.
I'm gonna throw one more into the hat. Theo James. Yep. I know you haven't watched it yet, but
I haven't watched it. But again, he was in Kingsman, and he was still a solid actor in Kingsman.
And in The Gentleman, he's even more of the James Bond type.
I need to. It is on my list. It is 100% on my list.
Dude, it's one of those rare like Netflix originals that like really hit the nail. Like they hit the head on the nail. I
mean, point the person that complained about the show. I have never seen from anyone. I haven't seen a liberal say it was bad. I haven't seen a conservative say it was bad.
No, it really was
clearly a hit across the board.
There is nothing. The only kind of negative I would say is that it's like unoriginal in quotations, because it is loose. It's like a loose reboot of the movie with Matthew McConaughey, and
which I really want to watch. I still haven't watched that.
You'd like that movie. It's very theatrical, very Hollywood. It's not realistic in any way, but it's super entertaining, and it's got that like quick British wit, so
which is really good. I love that the scene where, because I've seen scenes from it where McConaughey shows up and he's talking to the guy. He's very much like, I wouldn't. You stole from me. I don't care. I do not care that you stole from me. I understand why you stole from me. It makes sense for you.
Yeah.
But you fucked with my wife. Holy crap. Where'd that come from?
No, so McConaughey is pretty like, he's McConaughey in that, like, he doesn't do some crazy outstanding job, the other cast members really good. John Hamm? Not John Hamm. Charlie Hamm, sorry.
Yeah.
He does a really good job. And then that other.
Well, I also love that scene where he comes up and says, "Just give me the phone, man. Just give me the phone." And then the gangsters are being like, "Oh, you want your phone? You want your phone?" And then he fucking like shoots the gun in the air. And they're like, "Oh, we're so sorry."
And then
I feel like I know like half the fucking movie. I haven't even fucking watched it.
No, it's still worth watching though. Hugh Grant does an excellent job too. It's a pretty good movie. Again, it's not like up there on my list, but like of like must watches, but it's entertaining for what it is.
I know it's a joke. James Bond is about king and country.
Yeah, James Bond is about family now.
And Breezy just being a boss that he's been stuck on for weeks in life, Liza Pie. There you go. I know the feeling.
Chris, the movie we're talking about, The Gentleman.
Yeah. Yep, that one. Okay, so one of the reasons I wanted you on here tonight is because you are a, shall we call it, fan of conspiracies?
Well, yeah. I mean, you could put it like that.
So this afternoon, we finally got a director of the FBI.
We'll see how long he lives for.
So He was voted, or he was confirmed under count 41 or 51 to 47, which actually means 2 senators did not vote. And so I meant to look this up. And dude, have you used Grok 3 yet?
I have not yet.
Dude, this is awesome. Did not vote. Sorry, I'm having trouble spelling. So 2 didn't vote for him. So it was almost along ideological lines. We know McConnell actually did vote for him, which, or actually, maybe he didn't. Oh no, it was 51-49. Never mind, I take that back. Everyone, all the tweets kept saying fucking 51-47. I guess they just waited or went off too early. I don't know anything about that. So Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska did not vote for Cash. They also did not vote for Pete Hegseth. But the reason Vance had to cast the vote for Pete is because Mitch didn't vote for Pete either. I was telling someone earlier that I'll bet you what happened was the either Trump or Vance or the whip for the Republican Party took Mitch aside and said, "You are not getting your standing ovation. You are not getting your victory lap, your goodbye tour if you don't vote for Cash." And that guy is so obsessed with people thinking he is God's gift to the Senate that I'll bet you that's why he voted for him. But I was actually kind of hoping he wouldn't, because I wanted to see Vance come back in and vote for Cash. That would have been hilarious.
All transparency, I know very little about Cash. I also
McConnell was doing whippets in the bathroom.
Dude, some of those, I can't believe they are allowing this guy to still be active, because I mean, the multiple videos of him doing this, and then his like security details, like, are you okay? Are you okay? And then they walk him off. It's worse than Joe Biden. If Joe Biden did, at least Joe Biden's mumbling and trying to say something. McConnell's just standing there.
Yeah.
I thought you froze for a second.
I know. He literally has like a stroke. I guarantee he's having mini strokes.
Yeah. And they're probably just taking him to the back room, pumping him, giving him the good old cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
Give him 2 Bidens.
He was, yeah.
2.
It's probably what the fucking whippets are for. Shit.
Yeah.
Chris, that was tops. That was, I think that's the best chat I've ever seen you make.
But
that was fucking hilarious.
So what I was saying is that I don't really know much about Cash. I know he's very much in line with the drain the swamp attitude, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to know what the kind of conspiracy thing is about this that you think is happening.
So when I say conspiracy, I guess I mean more and I hate to loop it in with conspiracy, because it's such a negative cachet with conspiracy, but the anti-swamp that Cash is very much on the side of. So what my question for you is, we know that he's going to be involved in the release of the JFK docs, the MLK docs, the RFK docs. We know that he's going to be involved in the release of the Epstein list and the Diddy stuff and all that. What do you think? Like, what do you think his first 100 days looks like? Like, do you think he's going to be coming in and it's going to be fire, 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 fire? So it's like a fucking fire sale?
Well, first of all, they've already asked. So I forgot how. I think the number was like around 200 employees, or something like that, right? They've already told them, I don't know, it was 200, might have been 20. I'm forgetting what I was reading. But
I think I saw similar. It's the ones that were involved in basically the worst of the anti-Trump stuff.
yeah, and they were asked to resign by this time or you're fired, right?
Yep.
So that's already showing, I think, what his motive is going to be like. I can't sit here and pretend to predict what his first 100 days look like, but I can tell you that I think you already said it in your question, is that I think there's gonna be the huge push to release not only the JFK stuff, but the MLK stuff too as well. And
Well,
now that he's the head of the FBI, I mean, that's the conspiracy, is that. And I was gonna say, like, yeah, there's a negative connotation with some conspiracies, but the fact that we're this far in the JFK and the MLK one, I don't think there's any need to have a negative connotation towards the conspiracy in this regard, right?
100%. Yeah. Yeah. It 100% needs to. At this point, I don't care if I find out. I mean, I've told you this. I've always been in the mind that I don't think is 100% the CIA or deep state or anything like that. I think it was more of what we kind of see now, or what we believe we see now, with whoever the big spooky guys deciding that this is something we want to happen, but this guy, we could use him to do it because he really wants to do it. So I kind of think that's what it was more like. I think it was persuasion. It's kind of like the stuff we saw in Michigan with the guys that were in like a chat room to kidnap the governor, and they were in a forum with like 40 people. And so it was 40 of them. And like 38 of those 40 people were fucking federal agents.
Yeah. And so, okay, a few things. First of all, it's a conspiracy in itself. If there's some sort of NGO company that is paying other people, I mean, it very well could be that they know exactly what company hired these certain hitmen, and I'm putting that in quotes for JFK, because it's not like we don't know yet, but there's also suspicion that the MK Ultra program had something to do with that murder, and then also the Manson murders as well. So I'm obviously more willing to believe these things than you are, and not even believe them without fact, but I think they're more possible or plausible, right, than I'd say someone like you are. But again, I don't want to get caught up on that. I just also think, though, given what we saw with January 6th, and how you had federal agents like literally at the freaking riots, like, and then all these weird, like, I mean, I don't know how deep you are into this conspiracy stuff, but I think it connects, is like all these like neo-Nazi groups going around parading through cities.
Yahtzees,
they're all sorry. They're all masked, they're all masked.
Oh, dude, I 100%, those dudes are,
I think they're feds.
Feds, or
and I'm wondering if
anytime they're arrested, that one of the very first things you do when you arrest a person is you remove stuff covering their face. You take their hats off, because cameras need to see people's faces.
And also, most of these crazy supremacists are proud, like loud and proud about it.
Oh yeah.
They would walk around. They would want you to see their face.
Have you seen that what's his name, Dale Radcliffe movie where he's?
Oh, I haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
But you know the scene I'm talking about. They're very much like that.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do a poll on StreamYards?
Oh, I'd have to be in my StreamYards right now to do that. I don't know how to do that. But it's I think that's something that we need to consider. And for all we know, the JFK stuff, like maybe why everything's redacted, because it isn't like explicit that the CIA directly had a hand in the murder, but that like, and I'm giving them a huge break here, but it could be that they maybe put things in motion accidentally and it just makes them look horrible. Now, I don't think that's the case. Again, I'm being way too fair to them, but I think it's possible that it could be something like that. You know what I'm saying, Caleb?
Absolutely.
That I think, yeah, maybe they might have had a program that caused some dude to just go nuts,
Okay,
or
Chris, he is being very
Chris knows.
Very polite and nice.
Talk about this. Yeah.
I am 100%. I think that there's.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate for a second.
Yeah.
That poll almost destroyed the stream for me. Not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Both screens on my end went black. Yeah, it got the spinning wheel of death.
Okay.
But no, we're good now.
That's terrifying.
But yeah, it again, I'm being like, that's a stretch for me. Like I'm full on into this stuff. I think they 100% had a legitimate hand in it. Whether it's the left hand or the right hand, I'm not sure.
Haha, but I like that. Okay. So I'm gonna be very interested to see what Couch does over the next, honestly, the next 2 weeks I think are gonna be pretty cool to watch. I don't see anything crazy happening, tomorrow, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get Monday the news is 3,000 agents fired or resigned. Dude, go.
Okay.
It won't surprise me if we see, Monday morning, 5,000 agents have either been fired or resigned. We already know that a bunch have, like he said, there's several that were told you're going to be fired. Go ahead and resign. And then we know that there are actual plans to, I don't know if go after is the right word, but investigate at least several agents who were maybe a little less involved, or they may be just telling that, because we don't know exactly which ones they've told to leave, but they may have just told the ones that were kind of involved, hey, go ahead and leave, and they're actually wanting to go after the ones that were heavily involved. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. One of the things that I want to see within the first, let's say, month. So this time in March 20th, I want to see the release of documents. We've had months now of being told that we're going to get these documents. I want them released very quickly. I don't think there's any reason to save face for anybody. I don't think there should be a single name redacted for those Epstein documents. I think everything should be released. I want every name. I don't care if Donald Trump visited the island 932 times. I want to know. Every single person that was on that flight, I want to know who the fucking stewardesses were. I want to know who the pilot was. I want to know who supplied the fucking peanuts for the fucking flights. I want everything. Because we need to be able to decide who we trust, who we're willing to kind of, be okay with not liking, but what at least they weren't on the plane, shit like that. We need to know everything. And I think it's ridiculous that we don't. Where are we on that? So I'm not going to open it up again. Oh, actually, let me open it up with my phone. That'll work.
Yeah, do we want to talk about Dragon Age the Veil
card? So
wait, did they actually win Game of the Year?
Sorry?
Is he joking?
Yeah, he's joking.
Okay, I was like, did I miss something?
That came out for Dragon Age. Don't worry. Yeah, man. So we're currently at, I think, a handful of votes. Everyone is, of course, saying that cash is going to make the FBI better. We're going to come back to that, or at least we'll decide at the end with the vote. Daimyo,
what's up?
Do you think you could explain the Legend of Korra in a minute and a half?
Yeah, probably less. Essentially, it's, I think it takes place 100 years. I forget exactly, 50 or 100 years after the battle with Lord Ozai. The new Avatar is born. It's a chick, Korra. She then has to go on her own journey. She's like the polar opposite of Aang in terms of a character. She gets all of the three elements, fire, earth, and water down extremely quickly at a young age. And because she's polar opposite, she can't get the air bending down. It's like a really struggle for her to get it. And basically she goes through this journey of it's really it's like soul searching. It's really dumb in my opinion. Like, so she's like constantly trying to like battle with herself, and Aang is kind of similar, but he actually had a good what's it called, backstory for it.
Yeah.
Hers is not. It's not good. It's just she's kind of a brat, annoying, and also Mary Sue. But I digress. She goes on this journey. She basically breaks the spirit world. So she
explain this part, please.
She breaks the connection, or rather the doors between the spirit world and the spirit realm and just the normal world, and
which has a extreme negative effect on the existence of the
Avatar. Is that what you're going with this?
Yeah. It removes the Avatar, right?
It breaks the what's the word I'm looking for? God damn it.
Cycle.
The cycle, yes. It breaks the cycle, which is why I'm very confused about where we're going with this conversation with the next show. So she breaks the connection with the Avatar at the end, and it's just this whole like, it's okay, you didn't mean to do that, it's not your fault, but like ultimately it is her fault, and like she chooses to do it. I am forgetting exactly how that happened because I haven't watched it as much as I've watched the original, but it is pretty stupid and pretty underwhelming by the end of the show. And they do all of this stuff just to, like, for what? That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, she is kind of autistic.
So I never watched it because being 13 or 14 when it came out, I thought it was dumb that they had made the Avatar a girl, even though like I knew there are women avatars. Like I just didn't like that it was a girl. And then I saw the art style and I was like, why is it that every single time a new show in a universe comes out, they go, hey, let's make a new art style?
Yeah, so I was forgetting too. So she lets this dude manipulate her throughout like 2 seasons to get her to the spirit world and to free the opposite of Rava, which is what gives you the Avatar.
The original, it's something, right? It's like
it's the spirit. It's literally a spirit that gives you the powers to bend all. Because in the spirit realm, it's actually the lions, the turtle lions, that give you the bending abilities, or that gave humans the bending abilities. But it's the Avatar is a spirit specifically named Rava, who lets you bend all of them and gives you that bridge between the spirit realm and the normal realm. And so she lets this dude Unalak, who's like this. He's like the leader of the Southern Water Tribe, but Northern, sorry. And she lets him manipulate him this whole time, and he convinces her to let out Rava, which is Vatu, which is the opposite to Rava. And then he basically becomes like a dark side avatar. And then it's pretty weird. And then he also, once they defeat him, Rava Vatu then kills, or not kills, but like, yeah, beats the shit out of like basically rips her from the spirit that I'm talking about. And like it goes from this giant spirit to like a tiny little thing. And that's like how it basically breaks. And she's not able to connect with her again. And Rava is also a female.
So real quick, Canada just scored.
Nice.
It is 1-0 right now. So that sucks.
I mean, it's not, hockey can change on a whim.
Yeah. It's not shocking that Canada scored a point. I mean, or a goal. It was going to happen. But yeah, I'm kind of refreshing stuff.
And so one of the issues I have with Korra is there's no real what's the word I'm looking for? Not battle, but there's no real like struggle for her to go over. Every problem that happens to her in that show is her fault, and then she has to go and correct her mistakes. And then at the end, it's the biggest mistake.
She never gets any better, does she? She never stops.
As a character, no, but yeah, she never stops and says like, "Oh no," and then to make it worse, they make her a lesbian too, which is like.
So it took her 3 seasons to master air.
If I'm remembering correctly, she gets like airbending at the very end of season 2 or at the beginning of season 3. So like pretty much 2 seasons. But she like sucks at airbending. Now, the one redeeming quality of this show is God, what's his name?
Is it the dude, the firebending dude?
No, the airbending dude.
The descendant of Aang?
He's not a descendant. He's actually completely opposite.
He's gotta be. All the airbenders were wiped out.
Well, they're not all related.
But like, how do you have an airbender? Can you have an airbender born of like 2 Earth?
So that was part of it. Once the realm was, the connection between the 2 realms was broken, it caused airbenders to start populating at random. So yeah, I'm not horribly angry with that writing decision, to be honest.
Well, yeah, because you needed the airbenders to come back.
So yeah, to have balance and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
and
I don't think that makes sense. So once the connection between the spirits was broken, the power of the lion turtles got even bigger.
Well, they don't. It's not like the lion turtles went around and like poked the forehead of a bunch of people and like gave them. Well, because that's like how it happened. Remember, you guys didn't watch it. So it a cool connection is that precisely what the motion that you're doing is how, because they explain, and that's another redeeming quality of Korra. They explain the first.
So that's one of the only things that's really ever made me want to go watch the show is I'm incredibly interested in the whole spirit world of Avatar, and I wish there had been more in Last Airbender. And the fact that it seems like there's quite a bit in Korra.
There definitely is.
Go watch it.
I honestly, I say go watch it. It's just I'm very disappointed with the character herself and like the main. I haven't watched it and I haven't rewatched it for the main plot, if that makes sense. I'm watching it for all the side plots and all of the kind of lack of better words, expanded lore surrounding 100%. Surrounding the Avatar in general. And then also just very upset with how it ended with, so they did kind of leave it as I don't know if it was meant to be a cliffhanger, but it Chris, I'm sorry. Yeah,
You should be quiet, Chris.
Honestly, I would probably watch the live action movie before I try to rewatch that abomination of a Netflix
the
show.
new show is called Avatar: Seven Havens.
Yeah.
And this is apparently the official synopsis of the show. Buckle up, Buttercup. Avatar: Seven Havens is set in a world shattered by a devastating cataclysm. A young earthbender discovers she's the new Avatar after Korra, but in this dangerous era, that title marks her as humanity's destroyer, not its savior. Hunted by both human and spirit enemies, she and her long-lost twin must uncover their mysterious origins and save the Seven Havens before civilization's last strongholds collapse.
Chris's comment. Let me guess. There's 7 havens.
So, first off, Korra ends the cycle. How is there another Avatar?
And I'm sure they're going to explain this somehow. I don't know how they are going to explain that, but if they just try to go in and pretend like it never happened,
that's kind of what I think they're going to do.
Now, me being the little shit that I am, I immediately, when I saw that, hopped on my Twitter alt and went straight to the same discussing film thing that posted it. And I go,
what'd you do?
I was like, we're never going to see another male Avatar, huh?
Your responses? Or your
not yet. Probably aren't going to get any. But like, it is true. It's like, okay, why are we doing a female again? Just go.
And why are we going immediately after Korra?
And look, I also understand, like, this is legitimately a kids show. Like,
yeah.
But part of the reasons, like, I grew up with it. We both did. We both.
Well, that's why we both talked a lot about the live action show that Netflix did that we haven't heard a peep out of in quite a while.
I think it got renewed for a second.
It did. Season. So it's got they've cast Toph. I always called her Tora.
Yeah,
and all of this, they've cast people. We know some of the actors and actresses, but beyond that, there hasn't been like a single piece of news.
Yeah, and I'm probably not even going to hate watch the second season.
I might.
I mean, yeah, let me know, I guess, because I'm probably not going to watch that. I will most likely touch base with this one that we're talking about, Seven Havens, just to see where they go with it. But I just have a feeling, and it is okay on that point. Sundowners. No, it was not. On this point, it is legitimately a kid show. Why the fuck are they having like lesbian relationships in a kid show? Like, it's just obvious, and that was really hard for me to look past. So hopefully they don't do any of that stupid nonsense in this one. I'm praying that like the team or whatever that they build in the series has some pretty sick like masculine characters as well.
Yeah, well, so I am gonna assume that they're gonna do fraternal twins.
Yeah,
and my guess is that they're gonna do very much. She's gonna be strong and silent, and he's gonna be like scared, and she's gonna have to comfort him and tell him why everything's gonna be okay.
I don't know. It could go both ways. It could be that like because the last Korra was like the manly one. She was legitimately drawn buff. Like she looked like a jacked like girl. So they could go opposite of what you're saying and just have like the other twin be like the brute, and then she's just more like soft spoken and doesn't really want to accept her powers or whatever. I don't know, man. At this point, like I'm not too invested. Though I'll still check it out.
It's very much what I think is going to happen for the next probably the next 2 years of announcements like this stuff. There's one thing that I'm not checked out of, and it's funny that I bring it up because it's our next topic. So we got a little bit of news about Greta Gerwig's Chronicles of Narnia series.
And what is this news?
Netflix will be doing 8 movies for
8 movies?
for these 7 books. And having reread them recently, I can tell you right now, there is not a single one of them that you could spread into 2 movies, which I think means that they are going to make the true ending to their Chronicles of Narnia the bullshit fan fiction of the redemption of Susan Pevensey.
So I can't speak on that, but just to offer another perspective, I'm wondering if they're not doing hardline book 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5. Maybe it's like 1.2, 2.2, you know what I'm saying? And stretching it so that like the end of the first movie goes into the beginning of the first book and so forth. I don't know. That's just my guess.
So they are after all children's stories. They are not very complicated. Like you've seen technically the second Chronicles of Narnia. The second Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's very much the book that they did a fucking fantastic job. Like basically nailed it on the head. That like there's actual dialogue from the book used. Like it's honestly a fairer adaptation than Lord of the Rings is to Lord of the Rings. Like it is the best adaptation. Now, it still obviously wasn't good enough to keep them making more movies. They were apparently they were apparently working on the Silver Chair, which is the follow up to Voyage of the Dawn Treader. It stars Edmund and the cousin. What's the cousin's name? Nick something played him in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and his friend Jill Poole, which is why at the end of the movie you hear Eustace's mother yelling, "Your friend Jill Poole is here." Because it was supposed to be like a, "Hey, get ready, the next one's coming." But of course, I believe the studio went bankrupt and they never made the movie. But this concerns me because we already, and I've talked about it ad nauseum on here. We already know that Greta Gerwig is an activist. We know, was she the one that said that one of her goals was to make men uncomfortable?
No, you're thinking of Charmaine.
No, not Ochoy. But didn't she say something about wanting Barbie to make men uncomfortable?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Anybody in the chat know? I bet Sundowners knows.
Did you see the article coming out telling her about how there's going to be like what's his name, the fawn?
Tumnus.
Yeah, Tumnus. Yeah, there's going to be like some interspecies relationship between a human and him, and there's like a specific scene where they're like, I forget what it was, like they're in a cabin and it gets like intimate to say the least.
You're fucking with me.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I was pretty sure you were, but I wasn't positive. Holy shit.
Yeah, they're not doing that. I could see it happening, though. I'll be totally honest.
Yeah. So we've got intent to make 8 movies. There are 7 books. Gerwig's, one of the last things we were talking about with this was Gerwig said, I think I favorited or saved the tweet. Nope, that was the thing about Netflix raising their prices. Oh, here we go. A very new take on the franchise. She wants it to be like more adult, which again, it's a story written for children. It is a Christian. It is the Christian story. A lot of people say Lord of the Rings. I still kind of tend to say Lord of the Rings, but Chronicles of Narnia is the Christian children's book.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
there is no better metaphor for the life of Christ than Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, and Aslan,
Absolutely.
dying for his people,
and the fact that, and we just, I mean, obviously we don't know for a fact, but we do, that there's no way she is capable of landing the metaphors and imagery and symbolism required for this to be an actual success.
Well, and it's not that she doesn't have the skill set to land it. It's that she's not going to pay any mind to it to even attempt to do that. She's going to put that out the window and she's going to make it a fantasy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. And you already know, I'm not like, I was raised Catholic. I'm not really religious at all, but still, I think there's an importance to pay homage to origins of these types of stories, right?
Is this the creepy, like
Here, let me look it up for you, and
I don't think
I'll
I want
share
to do
my.
that.
All right.
I don't think I'm going to do that. So, I told you earlier that we were going to talk about a little bit about the Game of Thrones game.
Right.
So, Game of Thrones King's Road will be available on Steam. It's interesting. A demo of the game will be available to play on February 23rd at 11 p.m. Pacific. So
do
this
we know
Sunday,
what do we know about this game? First of all, before you dive into it, is this an RPG?
What do we know about Game of Thrones King's Road? No. King's Road. Hang on one second. There we go. Okay. So
Chris, it's a Game of Thrones game.
Yeah. So Grok is behind on this one. That's kind of interesting. So my understanding is that it's supposed to be a sort of an RPG. It's going to be similar to Skyrim, but obviously not anywhere near to that detail, to that level of sophistication. It's I think you're supposed to be a soldier that can pick a side during season 4 of Game of Thrones is when I believe it's supposed to tie in. George, I believe George's involvement was he basically like selected a time for it to take place.
What a waste of a game.
It is. It is.
I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
Now it's possible. Now we do know that mobile games aren't that expensive to make. It's possible that this is a attempt at, I'm assuming Warner or a subsidiary of Warner, since Warner holds the rights, to test the waters so that they can come back and say, "Look what this did. Now let us make this." So
yeah, that could be it.
There's a chance. It being available on Steam, I think, is interesting because it means this isn't just going to be some little game for your iPhone. It surprises me a little bit. There aren't a lot of games that are mobile games that are available on Steam.
Well, and so you and I have had countless conversations with a couple other people about this specific topic, and you and I are kind of on opposite ends. Me being more like, obviously I love the shows, but like I've only cracked open what is it, Fire and Blood, was it, or
Yeah.
so that's the only reference I have to the books, and it's like it's really hard to keep track of. But I digress. You and I have separate opinions on this, given that you've read a lot of the books, so you immediately are um you're immediately like, it's too hard to tell one of these full stories in a game. I've always said you don't need to tell a specific story, and you can kind of have a contained story within a certain time period within Westeros, which I think will be successful. Like, give us a main character that you like create a small. You would have to have a writing team, and that would take away from George's book. So there's that argument for it, which I totally agree with you that, like, as a book fan, you're probably pretty irritated if he signs on to projects like that. At the same time,
hang on. Again, 4,968 days.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You're right. No, you're right. It could be, though, as simple as you get a writing team that's worked either on the shows, like a couple of people that have worked on the shows, and you have a handful of people, a little writing room. You have a handful of people that put together a story, and all George needs to do is approve it. That there is a level of that where all he needs to do is read a script, approve the script, and then you give us a badass RPG, single player story, and you go through the realm, and it's nothing that's gonna really be canon heavy in the sense of, like, you don't need to, like, you obviously stay within the guidelines, but you don't need to have it progress a story in any way. It could just be, again, a contained story, a small story within the realm of Westeros, and you go around killing a bunch of people, like, and fight battles. Like, I think it's doable, and I think it'd sell a lot.
Apparently, if you want to listen to the audiobooks for Ice and Fire, it's narrated by Manny Pacquiao. Except it's not. It's narrated by Roy DeChoice.
He's just being an idiot trying to throw us off. Do you agree or disagree with what I said?
Yes, I think the way that you make this game, the way that you make anything involving Westeros right now that isn't a Dance with Dragons that isn't Winds of Winter, is you get George to basically say, here is my 5-page outline. I don't want George spending more than a couple of hours on
exactly.
This. And then you get the people that he trusts to go and flesh the story out. And then you bring them back to him to say, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to do it, these are the characters, these are how we're going to act, these are the voice actors, here's a little bit of their work. And then you invite him to spend, a weekend 5 months later looking at stuff. I'm serious. Balls and chains attached to his legs to keep him at his writing desk. The chain can be long enough that he can go lie down in his California king bed with 19 different what's a horizontal piece of wood in a house called?
What's a what?
Slat, with 19 different slats in it to keep him from going through the bed. And then when he finally finishes the fucking book, he can start spreading some wings a little bit. But until then, the dude needs to stop doing so much. And that's what kind of annoys me about the fact that they've announced this other show, which, again, we already knew was coming. Whoever is making these announcements, all of us already knew since the second to last episode that there was a Blackfire show coming because they cast someone to play fucking Brendan Rivers in The Dream.
Yeah.
So we knew it was coming.
Yeah, and so, okay, Chris brought up Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, which I had a really great time playing those games. I thought the gameplay itself was fantastic. I've heard, though, from our friend Gray Pilgrim that they kind of fuck with a lot of the lore.
100%, yeah.
So, in that sense, obviously don't go that route with what they did. But, I mean, I could imagine a pretty sick game with similar play style where there's pretty big battles in that game, so they could do something like that with it. But I just think it'd be fucking awesome, to play in Westeros within that lore, but you bring up a lot of valid points. It's kind of hard.
So I don't know if I'm retarded here.
What's up?
Shut up. But one of the announcements for season 3 of House of the Dragon is that they're currently working on their sets, and there are new sets that are being built. The Red Keep Weirwood tree is under reconstruction. Okay, I had to read it again. And Corlys Valerian's ship, the Queen Who Never Was, will be featured. So again, dumb, because of course they fucking built the thing for season 2. No one spends that money building something like that they're not going to use for more than a season. Like, come on, guys. So while our good friend Rage Quit is out there working on some stuff, I was sitting in Greenville, South Carolina last week at a class for maintaining my stuff for being a lawyer, and I got bored listening to the guy, so I started writing out notes that I was going to record a video for, and didn't make the video, of course. So I saw this thing. I saw a tweet about starting season 3 with the Battle of the Gullet, and I got really pissed because, as I said here, starting season 3 with the Battle of the Gullet does more harm than good. We have 10 seasons, 92 episodes of Westeros. None of these seasons begin with a battle. For the most part, every episode of the show, of every single episode that was made in this show, with the exception of, honestly, the last season of House of the Dragon, is on purpose. This battle needs to happen. The problem is, and by the way, guys, there are spoilers here. Okay, I'm about to spoil something. If you don't want to be spoiled, mute me. Same for you, Daimyo. If you don't want to be spoiled here, I think you already know about this, but I don't know if you do.
I talk to Sean a lot, so I probably know about this.
So the battle has to happen. The problem is the battle ends with a specific person's death, a very important person. However, in House of the Dragon, that person is no longer important. That person is, of course, Jace Targaryen, the Prince of Dragonstone, the heir to Rhaenyra, the person who basically the outcome of this war is going to decide where they live. And him dying in the Battle of the Gullet, it should be a monolithic moment. Jace should have been House of the Dragon's Robb Stark.
Well, I honestly, I didn't know that. I thought.
Well, shit.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking.
Stop doing that to me, man. Yeah, he should have been House of the Dragon's Robb Stark. We should have sat there and wept when he dies.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, he's kind of a whiny little bitch.
Yes. Because again, the problem is that they have taken the thing that he does to cement both his legacy, his mother's legacy, his house legacy, and given it to his mother, which in of itself is not bad. But the problem is what you do by that is you then make him a whiny bitch when he complains that the whole reason for them existing now removes any proof of his actual Targaryenness. It removes any question of whether or not he's a bastard. If these bastards can fly dragons, then there's nothing that makes me special. So, which he rightfully blows up about. But by making him blow up, you ruin even more of a chance of us really giving a shit about him. Because now he's just a whiny bitch.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like given like what you were talking about, how with him handing it off to Rhaenyra, like all of his responsibility, or not responsibility, but all the aspects of the book that you're talking about. Him handing it off to Rhaenyra isn't inherently a bad thing, right? But given how this show is turning out, and then isn't it in question like she's going to be running around with Dark Sister in this
So
next
I don't
season?
know if we know it's going to be Dark Sister, but yeah, it does sound like she's going to be wielding a sword. Which, again, if she's got a sword, because she kind of makes it sound like she's just going to be wearing a sword, because the whole.
But doesn't that already go against? Doesn't that already go against what?
I mean, so that is like if it's just she's wearing a sword, so as she puts it, she has somewhere to put her hand. Oh, a push for me. Like, it's not okay, she's got a sword on. Now, if she's sitting there whipping this thing around, fighting better than Daemon Targaryen,
that's what I'm
then
saying.
Fucking draw and quarter Ryan Condal.
It's too early to tell, but it does kind of seem like they're very.
One of those things that it's a big old red flag.
They're very much making it seem like, so far, based off of 2 seasons and being kind of neutral between the books and the shows, it seems like they're very much putting up, Rhaenyra versus what's her name?
Breezy says they wrote him as a whiny bitch. He's much more of a badass in the book. Exactly. He should have been leading small council meetings. While Rhaenyra was sitting there searching in the skies, he should have been meeting with the allies, because they're his allies too. He should have been doing everything that she would. He is the crown prince.
A lot of my favorite scenes in seasons 1 through 3 of Game of Thrones were watching Robb Stark build his army, go fuck shit up, and then also the interactions he had with his mom, and like telling her to sit the fuck down, putting her in her place,
moments
being like, you're stepping out of line,
when he's being crowned. And she stands up. Oh no, sorry. It's not when he's being crowned. It's when they've captured the Lannister scout.
Yeah,
and he's releasing him to go tell Tywin 20,000 Northerners are marching south to see if you really do shit gold. He releases him, and Catelyn stabs up and goes, "Robb!" And he turns around and looks at her like, "You sit the fuck down." And it is like, okay, that is a new character. That is King Robb.
And even though it ultimately turned out to be a mistake, I'm getting chills thinking about it. That scene
I just got a little cold.
Well, where he executes the Karstark, Elderman, and it's like
Lord Karstark.
Yeah, Lord Karstark. It's like, dude, when just that execution scene in general is it's one of my. I'm not gonna say it's one of my favorites, but it is up there. Like it's such a great scene.
It is when the first 6 seasons of Game of Thrones, every scene is in that show for a reason. There is not a single scene, and that's why you have these YouTube channels and these, after Thrones thing that popped up. That's why these channels were able to pop up and be, sort of like Star Wars theory. That's why you had these Game of Thrones theory channels pop up, because it was, this seems important.
Yeah, I wish
it's 5 seconds in the 45. It's in the show, so it's an important scene. Why is this scene important?
I wish one of our buddies had a channel that like specifically covered a lot of this Game of Thrones stuff, outside of Alt Shift X, who's not our buddy, but it'd be nice if someone we knew had built a whole channel around Game of Thrones.
Had like maybe a weekly live stream.
Yeah, exactly.
With like a really cool opening that maybe he paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I have no idea who to think of when it comes to Game of Thrones stuff, that we could interact with. Oh, Talking Thrones is a good channel. I'll check them out. I'll go subscribe and start watching all their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, shit. You know what I'm really curious about? I'm curious about the crowns. Like, why is each crown important? I wonder if someone has a video about that.
Yeah, I'll look in.
That took so long.
Yeah, it did. That's fine. I haven't heard of anyone posting a video about the crown, so I'll probably go out and look at that. Or look it up. I'll probably see if Alt Shift X has something that I can look at.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Wait,
so instead of getting the moments from Jace that we actually needed, what we got were 2 times that Allison and Rhaenyra meet to decide to plan how the fucking kingdom was going to be run, and to teach each other how they aren't actually enemies. I wrote during that class instead of listening to the actual speaker, who I probably should have actually listened to. Condor decided to create these silly moments between Rhaenyra and Allison in order to create some sort of resistance to war story. You know, she had when they met up that very first time, she goes, I had to know if what I was doing was right. What, you mean you had decided to plunge the fucking kingdom into war without knowing you were right? Like, all of this shit makes no fucking sense when you actually think about it. We actually dive in and go, okay, well, let's compare this to, you know, these other stories that we have. I am not a very good student. You are right. Yeah. But that's what was so annoying. Again, season 1 was like, holy shit, they fixed it. And then nothing happened in season 2. Season 2 does not put anyone in a position that's different than where they are in season 1.
Well,
except for Aegon and Aemon. And I guess
in season 1, they left you feeling like, oh shit, her son just got killed. She's in rampage mode. She's gonna go out and, like, whether it's her flying on a dragon or her sending armies out, shit's about to pop off. And then, like, the first couple episodes, you're like, wait, it's back to her throughout the whole first season, you know? So, like, what's the point in even setting up that cliffhanger, you know? Like, that's at least how I felt.
100%. Okay. Well, I think that unless you have anything that you want to chat about real quick, I think
Here for
that's
the ride, brother.
Real quick. Into the first, it's 1-1.
See?
Yeah.
See?
40 minutes left. 40 minutes.
It's going to be a tight game. I think so.
How's it go? Shit. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what they have here tonight. That's what they've earned here tonight. One game. We play them 10 times, we might lose 9. Not this game. Not tonight. Tonight we skate with them. Tonight we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. That's what I'm going to watch. Miracle.
Oh, dude, you really are a hockey fan. The amount of times I've seen that movie and I pick up on that, I am embarrassed right now.
Their time, it's done.
Yeah.
It's over.
God, I need to rewatch.
I'm tired of hearing about what a great hockey team the Canadians have. Screw them. This is your time.
Dude, how have we never talked about hockey before today? I didn't know you were a hockey fan. I thought you were just football and baseball.
No pins.
Have you seen this?
It's sad because one of the greatest pins ever is actually playing for Canada right now.
Wait.
Sidney Crosby.
Why are you a Penguin fan?
I know, right? Because
that makes 0 sense.
Yeah,
I just realized that.
Because in 2001, the Penguins hired the former assistant coach to the 1980 Olympic hockey team, sorry, they hired the former coach of the 1980 Olympic hockey team, Herb Brooks, to be their head coach. And he was their head coach for the 2002-2003 back-to-back NHL championships. He was the head coach.
Yeah, I love Mighty Ducks too. Also, Mystery Alaska is a great one. That's a great hockey movie. If you haven't seen that with Russell Crowe.
Mighty Ducks is the second best hockey movie. The best hockey movie is Miracle.
Yeah, Miracle goes first.
Mm-hmm.
But have you seen Mystery Alaska with Russell Crowe?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, dude, you have to watch that movie.
Did you say Russell Crowe?
Yeah. It's funny, dude.
Wow, Burt Reynolds.
I'm shocked you haven't seen this as a hockey fan.
Yeah, no, I've never seen this.
Dude, I don't
even think I knew about this.
I think you need to take time out of your week this week to watch that movie. I guarantee you're gonna like it.
Yeah, shit, absolutely. Let's see. Do I have what it's on? No, okay. Yeah, I'll rent it this weekend. I'll report back.
Please do. I want to know what you think.
Okay, guys. Everybody, Daimyo, thank you so much. I know you've put it in the chat once already. Let's go ahead and put it in the chat again.
Oh, both
of them. Guys, if you haven't already, go over there, subscribe to his weird channel, Aliens Conspiracy, and his gaming channel, Rage Quit Gaming. Still wait to see him do some rage quitting. But
I need to set up all my live stuff.
Yeah. Well, and so this is actually the last stream that I'll be doing on StreamYard. I'm moving over to Restream. I am sick and tired of paying $44 a month for fucking StreamYard. I don't think they provide enough.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up what they did.
Yeah, and with Restream, it's less than half of that, and I can also stream to multiple platforms without having to pay to do it on Streamlabs. So shit, win-win.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me tonight.
Absolutely. I tell you, this is the highlight of my week, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. Past couple of weeks, you've been having me on every week. It's been a fun time, dude.
Shit, maybe it's you.
It probably is. It probably is.
Guys, I hope everyone has a great night. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope your weekend is great. And don't forget, we'll be back here tomorrow. So tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be over on History of Pirates talking about Benjamin Hornigold. And then after that, we're going to be playing Sea of Thieves. The new season came out today. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Also, my review of the very first episode of season 3 of Reacher will come out. I'm going to go watch that and record it maybe tonight, probably tomorrow during work. And then this weekend we'll finish Kingdom Come 2. Hope everyone has it's an I. It's not a Y. It's an I. Hope everyone has a great week.